Hey, what's going on, Black people? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today is kind of a big day for me. I got a few thoughts I wanted to share today. Some on the stock market and what's going to happen there. There was a big move by the CEO of the Slutty Vegan that I wanted to kind of dissect a little bit for you. And also, I wanted to ask you, how does a high value man invest his money? What does that even look like? So, anyway, so get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your own. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I want to say good morning to everybody. And shout out the city that you're from in the chat so I can know what city you're from. Hello, my name is Corey and Big Money Lloyd and Rhonda Renee Smith and Janelle Spriggs and Tyrone. I see you, and Shirley and She Love Money. That's a great name. The Thinker. That's an even better name. Wow, I like that too. Ron Carter and Kathleen Kitchen and Renee and Ron Adams and Doreen McGill from New York City, Texas. I see Atlanta, Dallas in the building, Atlantic City, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Shout out to Tulsa, man. Black Wall Street. Philly, love Philly. Gotta love Philly and all them Johns in Philly. The Johns, they use the word John a lot, but I love my Philly people. New Orleans, what's up, Pasadena, Chicago, Orlando, Charlotte. Charlotte is where the All Black National Convention is going to be held. It's going to be October 28th through October 30th. Most of you bought your tickets. They're almost sold out. If you're interested, feel free to go take a look. Just go to boycewatkins.com, click on the events link, and you can find out all about the convention. It's the family reunion for all people in this country who are Black first. B1 means we educate our own children, create our own jobs, support Black businesses. It means that we prepare our families for the future. It also means that we love the community. We take care of the village. So if you are in the B1 category and you want to learn a lot, feel free to come to the convention. It's going to be really awesome. So anyway, hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So let me just jump into the conversation I wanted to have today. Now, today I'm going to be pretty brief with you guys because I actually am going to get a colonoscopy today. Now, why would I even take the time to tell y'all something like that? Because I think that's TMI, to be honest with you. I don't really talk about stuff like that too much. However, I'm sharing it because I want to encourage all the Black men, all the brothers out there, and the sisters too. Take care of your health. We got to take care of our health. I admit I'm not perfect in that area. I don't do everything I'm supposed to do. I got a bag of Twizzlers sitting right up there on the table over there. So I'm not anybody's model or picture perfect example of health. But what I am going to say is you got to think about that. Wealth consciousness is also health consciousness. Health is wealth. If you don't take care of your health, then you will lose all your wealth trying to buy your health back when you're dead. Give me a yes in the chat if you get what I'm saying. If you're hearing me, I want to really encourage you all to sort of think about that. For those of you that are feeling a little bit weird about it. So I am going to go through the uncomfortable process of having another man stick something in my you-know-what. And believe me, I'm not a brother who enjoys that type of thing or even the concept of that idea on any level, but I'm going to do it because I don't want to be a sucker. So don't be a sucker. Be smart. You can do it. All right. So anyway, so I hope that wasn't TMI, but I had to share it. All right. So speaking of health, there's this company called the Slutty Vegan, and this CEO, her name is Pinky Cole, and she gave a commencement speech at Clark Atlanta University. Now, Clark Atlanta is kind of one of my adopted schools. I actually had a very long-term relationship with a woman that was an alumni of Clark, and I used to go to her alumni meetings. And when I was there, I just really fell in love with the school, and I love what they're doing there. And my good brother, what's the brother's name? He's a great speaker. Oh my goodness, I can't remember his name. Shoot, I saw him not too long ago, and I can't remember his name, but he's in that Think and Grow Rich tradition. He's a great speaker. Y'all probably say his name. I just can't remember his name. But anyway, he's at Clark Atlanta, and I love Clark Atlanta University. So I was really curious to hear about the speech. Well, one thing that she said that was really interesting, Dennis Kimbrough, thank you. I felt bad and I remember his name. How can I forget Dennis Kimbrough's name? That man is a beast, absolute beast. But anyway, so the sister who went from the Slutty Vegan, Pinky Cole, I think that's her name, she gave a speech and she made an announcement where she said, everybody in this speech, and they, at commencement speeches, they like to make sort of the big reveal, get everybody pumped up and excited. And she said, I partnered with a bank, I think it was Beret Bank or something like that, to give everybody in the crowd is going to get an LLC and a path to entrepreneurship. And everybody's screaming and going crazy and excited. Now, I was excited too. I thought that was great in the sense that it's nice to really make entrepreneurship a thing in our community. As I mentioned to you all, the Black Core of 3 in the Black Business School, our Black Core of 3 is Black people should educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support Black businesses. That means building our own schools, but also building our businesses to support those schools. That's why our business, we give money to King Randall School down in Georgia. We've also given money to Freedom Home Academy International, and we're going to try to support more institutions as time goes on. So I love what she did. I think that's really a great statement in favor of the real Black power. The real Black power will come through economic power. Black people have 1.6 trillion in economic wealth. That is greater than the GDP of 95% of the countries on this planet. Tell me, did y'all hear what I said? Did y'all hear what I said? Don't let nobody ever tell you Black people are poor, because that's just not true. You just don't have as much money as white people. But just because I'm not as tall as a 7-footer, that doesn't make me a midget. Not being as tall as a 7-footer does not make you a midget. So you are wealthy. Black people are very wealthy. They have 1.6 trillion is more money than the GDP of about 50 countries or more than 50 countries, more like 100 or 200 countries. Let me see. In fact, I do this every now and then, but I have to I want to read some of this to you. I mean, if you look at the list of the countries, if you were to do a ranking by gross domestic product is the total value of all the goods and services produced in that country, you will find that 1.6 trillion is greater than the GDP of Russia. Russia just invaded Ukraine. That's a powerful country, more nuclear weapons than any country on the planet, or I believe they're in the top 2 or 3. You have more wealth in your community than the GDP of South Korea, Australia, Spain, Mexico, Indonesia, Turkey, Netherlands, Saudi Arabia. Those rich Arabians who come over with the sheiks, they got trillions of dollars. You have more money than them. Switzerland, Argentina, Sweden, Poland, Belgium, Thailand, Iran, Austria, Norway, United Arab Emirates. You have more wealth than Nigeria, Israel, South Africa, Hong Kong, Ireland, Denmark. You also, in fact, you have more wealth than Singapore, Malaysia, Colombia, and the Philippines combined. So my point is to say Black people ain't poor. That's my point. Did you give me a yes to let me know that you heard what I said so I can move to the next topic? The lesson is over. Lesson's done. Mic has been dropped. The chalkboard has now been erased. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Okay, so Black people have wealth. You have plenty of wealth. Stop acting like you're poor. You're not poor. So the CEO of the Slutty Vegan, Pinky Cole, made the really gracious and amazing, extraordinary act of giving everybody in the crowd an LLC and a path to entrepreneurship. I don't know what that means exactly, but it's a partnership with a bank. I don't know anything about this bank. It's called Beret. It starts with a V, something like that. So here's what I wanted to kind of, y'all know me. I like to kind of put things into context, though, to make sure we understand exactly what it is. The good side of that is that you're really heightening the awareness of entrepreneurship amongst young people, which is absolutely critical. A lot of our young people go to college. Half of all Black college graduates can default on their student loans. Defaulting on your student loans means you have bad credit, which means that you then have a really hard time building wealth, because most of the things that involve wealth building involve some sort of access to capital. The reason Elon Musk is the richest man on the planet is because somebody loaned him money to go make a business move. If the bank stopped loaning Elon Musk money, Elon Musk would have to declare bankruptcy tomorrow. Do y'all know that? Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, Tesla would have to declare bankruptcy tomorrow if the bank stopped loaning Elon Musk money. So there's nothing magical about white people. One of the things that they do have, though, is access to capital. So when I heard Pinky Cole make this extraordinary announcement, which I thought was really great, one thing I know for sure, just because I know these sorts of things, is I know that in Georgia, where they gave out the LLCs, an LLC costs $100. It costs $100. So she gave every person in the audience a gift that was worth at least $100, plus whatever that path to own entrepreneurship is with the bank. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's training or some bonus materials or something like that. I don't know the value of that. But $100 per person, if you have, say, I don't know, let's say 5,000 graduates, 5,000 times 100, that would be $500,000. That's pretty significant. That's not a tiny sum. However, here's the problem. Here's the thing that I would love to see. The number one reason that businesses fail. Does anybody know the number one reason that businesses fail? Try to guess. What's the number one reason businesses fail? The number one reason businesses fail is due to a lack of access to capital. They can't get a loan when they need it. COVID hits and Black businesses are wiped out. Wiped out. Do you know how many tens of thousands of Black businesses died because they couldn't get access to the PPP loans? Do you know how many Black business owners could scale up like crazy if they were able to get a bank like Varay to actually loan them $100 grand, $200 grand to make things move, to really get things going? Do you know how many good Black businesses there are that are extremely profitable that can't move forward because they can't get the bank to sign off and let them borrow some money the way they let the white boys borrow money? So in my view, if Pinky Cole is sitting next to Varay Bank, and I get it, we're all about the big announcement. Unfortunately, sometimes in the community we can be distracted by the big announcement and all the emotionality of things. Black emotionality is heavily manipulated on an absolutely epic scale. They're going to be manipulating your emotionality in the next election because now these shootings have taken place and they're going to scare you into voting for whoever they want you to vote for. That's what they do. That's the game. Judge it for what you want. That's just what it is. But if she's sitting next to these executives at Varay Bank, I would love to see a pledge to say, we're going to loan, some magnificent sum of money, $1 billion to Black-owned businesses, or $500 million, or $100 million in the next year or two, whatever, or whatever your loans are for that year. Like, we're going to loan 20% of our capital to businesses that are in the Black community, and we're going to show proof. We're going to have transparency to show you that we're giving these bank loans to these businesses. If you do that, then shoot, you can come on my platform and I'm going to brag about you, because that's when you're giving the businesses the lifeblood that they need. Because when you give businesses when you give young people the inspiration to become owners, but you don't give them the capital to maintain the business, it's like telling somebody to have a baby, but you're not going to help them get any baby food. You're not helping them get a job. You want them to have that baby and live in poverty, so the baby will eventually die. The baby must be fed. The Black businesses, the baby, you must feed the baby. Show me that you're feeding the baby, and then I'll be super impressed. So anyway, that's my first thought. As I move to the next thought of today, just so you know, that's the format of a lot of the podcasts I do now. I used to pick specific topics, but now I kind of enjoy doing streams of consciousness, so I can give you the Dr. Boyce breakdown on a lot of different things that are happening in the world. Before I move on, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, just a reminder, if you want to teach your kids how to get ahead on the wealth curve, we have really great workbooks for children. If you're interested in taking a look at our financial workbooks for children, just visit financialworkbooks.com. We cover all the different grade bands, and it's really important that you get your kids trained on economics early. They're not going to have any financial problems if you do that. If you do that, all the rules about being broke and being Black go out the window. Your child gets the experience of a rich white person. I want my kids to live like rich white people do. I don't want them in no struggle. I don't want them in no drama. I don't want them in no chaos. I want them to do well. So anyway, as I move on, I want to say first, also thank you to everybody who came to the event in Chicago yesterday. It was great. We had a wonderful time. We spent a lot of time talking about drama-free finances, generational legacy. My wife was there. She's a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. You guys know that. And we just had a really good time. And so I want to say thank you to everybody in Chicago that came out. And also our next event is going to be, I believe the next one is going to be actually during the Essence Music Fest. We're doing a 3-day deep dive intensive with some experts in real estate, also entrepreneurship, getting your business off the ground. We're going to but it's going to be social as well. We'll do some speed dating if you want to meet somebody. My wife is good. That's her sort of thing. And also, we're going to also talk about not just starting the business, but buying real estate and also investing in the stock market. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to go to boycewatkins.com, click on events. All right. So the other thing I wanted to mention today is this interesting thing with the shooting. This was just on my brain this morning, so I wanted to address that. I saw with this kid who shot up the grocery store in Buffalo. What was really interesting about that shooting, which definitely was racially motivated, it was definitely a racial issue, right? You do have that right wing. You got hate. You've got racial hate coming from the left wing and the right wing, right? On the right wing, the far extremists on the right wing, they believe all white people are going to disappear. So they're going to, some of them, they get guns and they do terrible things with those guns. And that really, honestly, that's not in the minds of some people. In the minds of some people, that's an argument in favor of additional gun control, which I don't disagree with, because clearly this kid should never have had a gun, or this young man, this guy, whoever it was, he shouldn't have had a gun. But then also for some people, it's an argument for additional gun ownership. I tend to be a skeptic. I don't believe guns are going to disappear. I don't think you're going to get all the guns off the street. I believe criminals are always going to have guns. America's a country that has more guns than people, actually. So the idea that somehow we can live in this magical utopia where all the guns disappear is probably just not true. So there are a lot of people who believe that this is an argument to say we should actually embrace gun ownership as a community. I'm going to leave that up to you to make that decision in terms of how you're going to protect your family. But I will say that there's not a lot of evidence to say that other people are ever going to protect you. But then the racism on the left comes from a lot of censorship. If you advocate for the censorship of the far right, then what's going to happen is eventually they're going to go after you. So I'll give an example. Tariq Nasheed and Willie D and some of the real strong brothers that really speak up on behalf of Black people, they will speak directly at the racist white supremacists, the suspected white supremacists. That's the term they use a lot and stuff like that. They'll speak right at them. So what will happen is after they censor those people, they're going to turn and say, well, we need to censor Tariq Nasheed too, out of fairness, just like they censored Farrakhan to be quote unquote fair because they think Farrakhan's a danger. I don't think Farrakhan's a danger. I don't see any evidence he's a danger. I've never heard of anything that he's done that's been dangerous to any people, not in the last 50 years. I mean, I know all the rumors, the Malcolm X conversation and all that, but in general, the Nation of Islam is a place of peace and strength. And the brother that gave me my security this weekend was from the Nation of Islam, and I knew exactly what to expect. They have a powerful brand. You know that most of the time when you meet a brother from the Nation, there's just a way they carry themselves. The women as well, just an expectation you have where you're away from any of the niggatry. You're not going to run into something weird. You're going to get exactly what you expect. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. That's why I hired him to be my security, and I'm going to hire him again. So with that being said, just be real careful about allowing people to pull you into certain conversations as a result of one incident or a shooting or getting you emotional, or at the very least, I would be hesitant to let people allow fear to convince you to pursue any particular agenda. You shouldn't pursue an agenda out of fear, because that's going to open you up for manipulation. So just be really careful with that. And but in general, it sounds like with this kid, with this guy, whatever, he's 18. And all 18-year-olds in my mind are kids, because I'm a college professor. You think about freshmen. I got children older than him, but still, he did some grown man stuff. He deserves the death penalty. We know all of that. In fact, if they gave him the death penalty right there on the street, I wouldn't have cried for him at all. So with that said, though, it looked like he should never have had a gun. He threatened the school in the past. That should have been taken more seriously. A lot of lives would have been saved. That school should probably be sued for not responding properly to the threat, because clearly this guy was a serious threat to everybody. Now, let's move on to the next topic. The next thing that was on my mind this morning, and actually toward the end, I'm going to actually talk a little bit about the stock market, and I'll actually give you a stock or two that I think is worth investing in. So just hang on to the end, and we'll definitely hit the stock stuff. You guys know my PhD's in finance, and that's what I talk about every day. But I also talk about a little bit of everything that's happening in the world and the community. And also, by the way, there was a couple trolls in the chat coming in with nonsense. And just so you know, with a troll, I'm probably not going to address you. So, if you're looking for attention, you probably won't get it. but what you will get is blocked. You're going to get eliminated. So if you're an idiot, just be a quiet idiot and we're good. But if you become a loud idiot, we're going to have to remove you from the class because intelligent Black people are speaking. We are the royalty of the community. You're the class clown. The king does not respond to the clown. So ultimately, if you are the clown, just be a quiet clown. You know, if you are a Negro naysayer, just grumble to yourself. Go complain to your mama. Complain in the mirror. But if you come in this chat and you say things that are ignorant and ridiculous, I'm not even going to get mad at you. I'm not going to give you the energy of being upset with you. I'm really talking about literally 0.1% of you. I'm literally talking about 1 in 1,000 of you. But every now and then somebody will come in and try to get attention or whatever. And we've had this as Black people for the last 400 years. We've had people that always want to disrupt Black people who are trying to build. And what I really want you to understand is that in our community, you have at least 2 categories. You got the children and you got the grown-ups. You got the big-minded people and you got the small-minded people. You got the positive, forward-looking people, and then you have the Negro naysayers. The Negro naysayers are the people who find a problem with every solution, who don't have anything positive to say about hardly anything, who are just there to be disruptive. Then some of them actually might be agents. I don't know. I've heard these theories as well. No, well, whatever you are, whatever you're doing, you better just be quiet about it. If you want to quietly watch and grumble and be mad, you're allowed to do that. But the minute you speak up, you've revealed yourself and you will be eliminated. I won't even announce it. I'll just tap the screen, you'll disappear, and you'll be canceled because we do have cancel culture up in this bitch. And don't make me have to cancel you. All right, so let me keep going. I just have to make that public service announcement every now and then, just to make sure we're straight on exactly what we're trying to do. We got business to handle here. So here's another thought that I want to share with you all. Just kind of a perspective that came to my mind. I owe you honesty, so I like to kind of just give an honest reflection of what I saw. I saw this interesting conversation where this woman was talking to Kevin Samuels about this high value thing, this high value man, high value woman sort of thing, and it's not in any way meant to be negative or either negative or positive about Kevin and what he represented. I think that's up to you to have your opinion. Most intelligent people I know are people who say, yeah, I can understand some of what he said, but some of what he said I didn't like, right? They're kind of in the middle, and I get that, right? Or so whatever extreme you're on, maybe you'll hear this because I'd like to actually share this perspective. So I spent a lot of time really wondering about this idea of the high value man, high value woman. And I looked at the last 10 videos that Kevin did before he passed. And I've heard people say, well, Kevin was just as hard on the men as he was on the women. I don't agree with that assessment. And the reason I don't agree with that assessment is because if I went to Kevin Samuels' channel, in fact, I encourage everybody to do this. If you go to his channel and look at the last 10 videos that he did, every single video title was about women. Every single video, the title was about women. Modern woman thinks she's the prize. Modern woman doesn't think she needs a man. Is this what modern women want? Modern women are losing. It'll be things like that, right? And so what I would say is that there was definitely kind of an attention on women. It was sort of like, at worst, you could say it was woman bashing. At best, though, you could say he was trying to be helpful by saying, this is what women need to do to appeal to high value men like me, right? Do you get what I'm saying? Tell me if you get what I'm saying. I need you to try to hear me in a logical fashion. I'm a logical person. I'm like a Vulcan or like Dr. Spock. I'm not here to be emotional about it one way or the other. I'm really trying to make a point. So anyway, with that said, I saw him debating a woman who was very nice to him and who basically kind of challenged this high value man, high value woman thing. And she said something to him like, basically like, you're a high value man, right? And he said, yeah, I am. And she said, so you meet plenty of high value women, right? And he said, yeah, I meet them all the time. And he said, so why aren't you? She said, so why aren't you married? And he said, well, I've been married twice. And I don't remember the rest of the conversation. I have to get the link and I can share it actually, because I thought it was really interesting, because it made me ask myself this. It made me say, what's the goal, right? If I am a high value man and I'm giving advice to women on how to be a high value woman too, or how to identify a high value man, and I'm giving men advice on how to be a high value man and how to identify high value women, what is the goal? Right? Is the goal to get men and women together so they can have sex with each other? I mean, that's fine. That's okay. That's a goal, right? Is the goal to get Black men and women together so they can marry each other and form families? That's another goal too. Let's call that level 2. Or is the goal to get Black men and women together to get married, form families, and stay married? Right? So if you dissect that into 3 different categories, level 1, get Black men and women together to have sex. Like, I'm a man and I want to know how to appeal to a high value woman and get her to get in the bed with me so we can do our thing. I think he was really good at that, right? An image consultant means I can give you the right image to allow you to appear to be somebody that is appealing so that you can get the person that you want, right? That's good, right? Then the next level, can I get Black people together to actually get married and form families? Well, that's one of the goals that will be put into question, because if you think about this, right? If you're saying, look, I'm a high value man, I want to show you how to be a high value woman so that a high value man will want to be with you and marry you. But I myself have never been married. Think about this. I've been public for a long time too. Kevin Samuels did a whole video about me on his channel. I didn't even know about it. I still never have watched the entire video. I don't watch YouTube videos, to be honest with you. I watch stuff like track and field and poker tournaments, and I watch videos where I can learn things. I don't get really into like some of the chit chat on the internet. It's just not interesting to me, to be honest with you. But here's the deal. If I'm a high value man who's meeting lots of high value women, and I'm saying, I'm going to show you how to be a high value woman so a high value man like me will want to marry you, but I've never married a high value woman. To some would say that I'm getting you to compete for a prize that doesn't actually exist. You follow what I'm saying? I'm getting you to chase something that's not going to be handed to you. Right? Like I'm not, because I'm manifesting this. I'm showing you, look, I'm going to meet a lot of high value women and they're going to do cartwheels to get next to me. I'm going to sleep with them all and I'm not going to marry any of them. Right? I heard Too Short, the rapper, actually, because think about it. I mean, and sometimes, and if you really want to be cynical, you can make the argument that it almost sounds a little bit like pimping. Too Short, who was a guy who would always talk about pimping women or whatever, he actually had a verse about that where he said that women want to get with me because they think I'm going to give them money, but I never give them money, but I get my sex first. And so in a way, it's kind of like, it's a little bit of a contradiction that can be pointed out. If I am an alleged high value man that's supposedly teaching you how to appeal to a high value man so that you can get married and stay married, then it seems to me that I would not just want to be a high value man, but I would manifest that by getting married and staying married. So by virtue of Kevin saying I've been married twice, that's him saying that not only does this high value man or high value men like me not really want to marry you. We want you sweating up a storm. We want you appealing to us. We want you doing what we tell you to do. But not only are we not going to really marry you, but we're probably not going to stay married to you, because I've been married twice and I have no shame in that. The same shame I would expect you to have for being, say, a single mom, I'm not going to have that shame by being a twice married dad. And that does not, now the thing about that, you got to be careful about that, obviously, because a lot of people get married and get divorced and it's not always their fault. Things happen in relationships. Relationships are tough. Marriage is tough. You shouldn't sign up for it unless you're ready to really do that work. But I think that for Black people, one of the things I would encourage you to really think about is, at the very least, when you're getting advice on how to do something, you probably want to get advice from somebody who's done it, who knows how to do it successfully. That's just, that's my 2 cents on that. And it's not even a diss, it's just an observation. And I know some people are emotional, it's for it to be the manosphere. When I think about manhood, I always think about the ability to manage your emotions. But if you really look at some of the energy of the manosphere, some of the energy is very emotional, like men that were raised by their mothers and they imitate their mothers and their emotionality, right? Because they're mad. Maybe they're mad, for whatever reason, mad at single moms because their mother was a single mom and they didn't get what they needed. I don't know what it is. But either way, though, I think if you look at it logically, it doesn't make sense. And then that last, and again, we talked about that last piece of not just getting married, but staying married. he didn't stay married. So what I saw with Kevin, what I liked about him was he was very intelligent, very logical. He brought forth a lot of great old school values that I think people can learn from. He talked to men about dressing the right way, about speaking articulately, doing a lot of things that I think that decent women, quality women, find these things appealing. I like the idea of having a 50-something-year-old man who was explaining to young women about the just the sheer weirdness of being attracted to thugs and gangsters and guys that are going to go to jail, and no disrespect to anybody who's been to jail, but that's not necessarily your shining moment, right? That's not necessarily the blueprint we want for all of our black men, is to want to be a kind of person that's going to end up in a bad situation. And so I like that part. That part I loved. What I didn't like was a holier than thou approach to say, I am the model, I am the standard, I'm the template that you want to appeal to. And I'm going to, because I am the model of perfection, I'm going to point out all your flaws and make you feel bad about them. And let you know that because you're not appealing, or because you're not influenced by my perspective, you're going to die alone. And the reason you're going to die alone is because you did not sign up to the religion of Boyce Watkins, or the religion of a Kevin Samuels, or the high value man, high value woman doctrine, right? I think that's a little bit harsh, and I stand by that. So that was my thought this morning. I wanted to share it. I know that it's a divisive topic, but I don't really run away from topics like that. I just kind of share what I think, and then people can do with what you want. Next, so now let's talk about stocks real quick. And before we do that, if you could hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Also, by the way, if you want to support the platform, you want to be a patron, you can actually do that by going to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. And in exchange for you supporting the channel, I list stock picks in on that platform every single week. So if you want to know the stocks that I like for that week, and if that can help you, then become a patron, and I can share that stuff with you. All right. So anyway, moving on. The stock market. Okay, so with the economy right now, basically what's going on with the economy and with the stock market is that you obviously have a bear market, right? There's no question about that. Or it's heading toward a bear market if it's not technically there yet. The average bear market lasts about 14 months. This is a more complicated bear market because the economic sickness that you're dealing with is one that was exacerbated by moves by the Fed. The Fed made decisions that made things worse, that pumped up the market artificially. And now you're really just coming down from the crash because the market was injected with basically economic crack for about 10 years. Now you're coming down from the high, and the drugs are not being are not being administered anymore. So now you just kind of have this lull that's taking place. So with that said, you're gonna have a lot of volatility. That's a given. The market's gonna seem schizophrenic and a little weird. The market is sitting on the edge of its seat, waiting for new information to let us know what's going to happen in the economy over the next year. That's just what it is. The best approach, in my view, is to be a long-term investor, which means that you buy your assets and you just sit on them and you don't worry about it. That's it. That's the best approach. Buy some stock, buy some every week, keep doing it no matter what. And then if you want to watch the news, but just know the news is a little bit of a distraction in terms of how it impacts long-term investing. Now, if you want to talk about short-term, some of the big factors right now, inflation is the big beast. They're trying to beat the beast down, with a hammer, beat it over its head. The problem is that the more they beat down the beast of inflation, the more it slows down the economy. So now the word stagflation is being used more and more and more. Stagflation is basically like think about it like sex. If you have sex, let's say you have sex and you something bad happens, like let's say you get someone pregnant or you catch a disease, which is all terrible, which is why you should protect yourself. But let's say you make a mistake and you catch a disease, but let's say it was like the greatest sex ever. Well, that's kind of what inflation is. Inflation is like, you had the best sex ever, but you got the girl pregnant, right? So there's a good and there's a bad, right? That's what inflation typically does. Inflation is the bad that comes along because you had so much good. Well, imagine if you took the good away. Imagine if you caught a disease and the sex was terrible. That's stagflation. Or imagine if you got the girl pregnant and it wasn't even any good. It was like the worst sex ever. Or does that make sense? I know that's a weird example, but I'm sure everybody would get that. That's stagflation. Stagflation is where you typically with inflation, you have a booming economy. Inflation typically shows up because the economy is doing so well. The economy is taking off. Jobs are available everywhere. Prosperity is out of control. And then inflation kind of creeps in. Then you got to kind of slow down the party because the inflation is getting out of control. Well, now you have a situation where you might get the inflation, but you don't get the boom that comes with it. Do you understand? Give me a yes if you follow what I'm saying. I want to make sure you get the analogy here. You're getting the bad, but you're not getting the good that typically comes with it. Your economy could end up slowing down because the Fed keeps having to hike interest rates to control inflation. The more the Fed increases interest rates, the more they're slowing the economy down. So they're reducing inflation. Yes, they're going to do that. But the question is how much damage is going to be done to the economy in the process. It's like if you get cancer, you go to the doctor and they say, oh, you need chemotherapy. Well, do you know how many people have died from chemotherapy? Because chemo kind of sucks. Chemo doesn't just kill the bad cells, it kills the good ones too. And so people come out of chemo and they're like, oh my God, my health is worse than it was before I went in for the chemo. So you're kind of confused by that. Well, stagflation is kind of like that. It's where you have the chemotherapy that's killing the body. Okay. Because so right now they're administering heavy chemotherapy to the economy and they're hoping the economy can stay strong. I don't think that it will. I think that they put the economy in a bad situation and it's probably going to be a little bit of a mess. But this too shall pass. If I were to ask you, think about this. Everybody's freaking out about what's happening right now in May of 2022. If I were to ask you right now, give me a yes or no. If I were to ask you right now, what was going on in the stock market in May of 2016? How many of you within 30 seconds could tell me that? Within 10 seconds, let's say 10, 15 seconds. How many of you can instantly tell me what was going on in May of 2016 in the stock market? Can anybody tell me what was going on in October of 2017? Can anybody remember? That wasn't. What about June of 2019? That wasn't that long ago. It was just 3 years ago. You're probably freaking out over something. If you were a consistent investor, you were paying attention to something, right? You don't remember. Most people don't remember, right? So my point is to say that you're not going to remember this month. 5 years from now, you won't care about what happened in May of 2022. So in my view, I treat it like I do with an argument with my wife. Whenever me and my wife get in an argument, I'll stop myself and I say, am I really going to care about this issue 5 years from now? And if the answer is no, you know what I do? I forget about what we were arguing about and I focus on something else. I say, oh, let's go get some ice cream. Let's go to the movies. Big picture thinking. That's the point. People who can think in a big picture context make money. People who are small-minded just typically lose in every category of life. So practice being a big picture thinker. Being a big picture thinker is more important than actually being smart. I know lots of smart people. I'm a professor, so I knew lots of PhDs who are super smart, but because their minds were so tiny in terms of their thinking and their vision was so narrow, they never really manifest their potential. Think big. Got it? Make sense? Okay. All right. So before I go, let me give you, if you want to know a stock that I would invest in right now that I really like, I like Amazon a lot. I just think Amazon's a great company. It chugs along. It's making a ton of money. Some of these tech stocks are really cheap compared to what they were a year ago. Maybe they could still be overpriced, some of them, but I think that this is a good time to jump in. Amazon, Apple, that's another one too. If you got extra money, you probably won't be making a mistake by putting some money in those companies. All right. So anyway, by the way, so before I go, thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that. Also, if you're on Instagram, hit the link in the bio. You can do a free trial in my stock market investing class. We meet every Tuesday. So we'll be getting together tomorrow morning. You can send me your questions. I will look up and research your stocks for you. I can answer your questions right there in class. So feel free to do a trial in the stock market class. Or if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can find it there. Also, don't forget the All Black National Convention is October 28th through the 30th. And we'll also be in New Orleans at the same time as the Essence Music Fest. So if you'd like to join those events, just go to boycewatkins.com, click on events, or hit the link in the bio if you're on Instagram. So thank you guys. I hope you have a good day. and I'll let you know the results, or I'm not gonna let you know the results of my colon thing, but I will tell you when it's over, because believe me, I ain't looking forward to that whole process of, I ain't built like that, Lord Jesus. But I'm gonna go do it, because health is wealth, and Black men, let's take care of our health. We can do it, man. I know it's hard. I know your uncle didn't do it. Remember, your uncle died because he didn't take care of his health. So I want us to do better than our uncles and grandfathers did. So shout out to all the Black men that are doing better. All right, talk to you guys later. Love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.